Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hello, my name is Mr. T, if you didn't know, and if you do know, thank you for returning and coming back. Don't mind the yellow shirts, you're probably going to see me wearing them in most of my videos. I promise you it's not the same yellow shirt. There was just like, they're super comfy, and there was like 30 of them on sale, and it was the only color left. My favorite colors are actually red and black together, maroon and gold together, and then red, white, and blue together, not on their own. So, ladies and gentlemen, today is, I'm going to officially start our amendments, okay? Now, our First Amendment, we have the First Amendment. Now, here's the thing, I'm breaking the First Amendment into 5 parts, okay? Because there's 5 different things in the First Amendment. Religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition, okay? And I'm going to get into the specifics once we get to each one. However, they are so massively big topics, they could easily be their own amendments. Each section could easily be its own amendment. So I'm going to break it up into 5 parts, and I'm going to break it up in the order they appear in the First Amendment. So today we're talking about religion. Okay? Now, the First Amendment gets really, really murky watery because a lot of people have their own views, their own biases, plus religion is such a broad topic. I mean, we have traditional religions such as Christianity is the big one in the United States. About 70% of America is Christian. We have Islam, which is another major one. Islam, it's very small in the United States, but it's the second largest religion in the world. We have other religions such as Buddhism, which is primarily in China and the northern India part. We have Hinduism, which dominates India, Hinduism, and India, that's where it started. We have religions like that. We have a religion that worships a giant spaghetti monster. I'm not even joking. And it's not some side thing, it's a big thing. Several countries even recognize it as a religion, and the first marriage to happen there happened, I think, in Poland a couple months ago. Look it up, it's actually a legitimate thing. But religion is such a broad term. So for this purposes, religion is, for the purposes of the Constitution or what it means a belief system. That's literally what it means. There are court cases proving, or saying, not proving, but saying that is what religion is. And I'm not trying to tell you, like, explain what religion is. I'm going to explain what the First Amendment protects on it. And the First Amendment has 2 sections on religion. The first is the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause. Okay? The Establishment Clause basically protects it stops the government from establishing a religion exists. And it does that in a way where it can't give funds to a religion. A government can't tax a religion either. So if you are religious and you go to a church or a synagogue or a temple or wherever your religion meets, anything you give to them, the government won't take any of it. The government's not allowed to. You're not allowed to tax a religion. Otherwise, that means you are establishing that religion exists or is a religion, and that defeats the Establishment Clause. So anytime you give money to a religious institution, whether it be Christian, Islam, Hindu, spaghetti monster, it doesn't matter. The government can't take any of that. It all goes to whatever religious institution that you've given that to. The other thing is the Free Exercise Clause, and that's for you, the citizen. It basically says you have the right to believe in whatever you want. Now, there are stipulations on that, okay? For the most part, the government has kind of given any religious Supreme Court cases or battles, they've kind of given to the citizens in a sense. There were court cases, though, this is where things get murky. As time has gone on, and the United States has become more secularized, which secular means non-religious. That's kind of what secular means, and you're going to hear me say that a little bit. But as the United States has become more secularized, which means non-religious, over the years, more laws have been coming into place, not necessarily barring religion, and there aren't any that really bar religion to the point where you can't practice your religion anymore, but there are some that impede it. Some of the big ones are, you can't have the picture of the 10 Commandments in a courthouse. The 10 Commandments are basically Christian and Jewish laws in their religion. Basically, they're commandments, they're laws, they're things saying you should or should not do. And the court has marked down saying you can't have those in federal buildings. It says it impedes the whole Establishment Clause. It establishes it, things like that. Other big things, and this is where it gets super big. Religion in this topic get major big, and that's schools. Schools, you can't have prayer in school. At least not here. Don't quote me on that exactly, because there are stipulations. You can't have a teacher pray in schools. Teachers aren't allowed to pray in school. Okay. On top of that, you can't have someone open up a school-sanctioned event with prayer, such as a sports game or a graduation. All of these have been done and tried in court, and the Supreme Court has knocked them down. Things you can have, though, a religious organization or a religious club is allowed to meet on school grounds if other clubs are. So if you allow like the tech club or the video game club or clubs like that to meet on school, the school has to let religious clubs meet too. However, they cannot be, the teacher has to run it obviously, but the teacher can't participate. And that's where it gets murky. Some areas, they haven't had an exact like no court case that has said, you know, teachers cannot participate, period. They have to be in the room obviously because an adult has to be there, but they cannot participate. Okay? They haven't said that yet. That's kind of been what's implied, but there have been situations where teachers have participated. There have been like, they would send home like waivers or sign-off sheets saying, yes, where the parents are like, yes, I give my student permission to, talk religion with the teacher, after school hours, not during school, after school hours, like things like that. However, there have been times, though, where the schools just shut it down. The teacher is only there as an adult figure, that's it. All the religious talk is done only by the students. It's seen both, and the Supreme Court hasn't given an official statement one way or the other. Okay, at least not in any major court cases. It's come up, but the Supreme Court themselves hasn't actually said no. It's kind of been more down to the states at that point. Something like that might be coming up in the future, but it hasn't happened yet. Not now, like I said, teachers can't participate during school hours. If it's like an after-school club, that's where it gets murky. Now, there is one court case. I'm not going to throw a whole bunch of court cases, like specific court cases, but there is a specific one I want to finish with. Lemon v. Kurtzman in 1971. I'm not going to get into the court case. If you want, you can go to my website for that. But the basics is it established the Lemon test. And the Lemon test determines whether something religious is constitutional or not. It has 3 parts. When someone does something, whether they be place, 10 commandments in a courthouse, whether they pray in school, whether they place a statue of someone, like a religious figure in a certain area, it has to meet 3 requirements. Does that action pose a secular purpose? Like, does it pose a non-religious purpose? The second thing is, does it aid, or it cannot aid or promote religion? Okay? So, or impede. So it can't add to any specific religious institution, but it can't take away from it either. So if you put something up that is like, targeting or going against a specific religion, that you can't do that either. It's not just about promoting. You can't just not promote a religion. You also can't not knock a religion or take one down. And the last thing is it can't entangle government and religion. So if you do any type of action, you can't have government and religion entangled in one another. Okay, whether it be giving funds directly to a specific institution or something like that. Actions like that are what entangle it, and you can't do it. Now, on that note, the government or the Supreme Court has had a lot of court cases where the government, and I don't just mean the federal government. Whenever I say government, I also mean the states. But the Supreme Court has had a lot of court cases where they would allow the government, state and federal, to give funds to kids or to students who went to religious or private schools. And they said this was legal not because it was helping the school, but because it was helping the student. Such as one instance that I'm going to go into was there was a child who was deaf at a religious school, and the state had to pay for his translator. And the Supreme Court said that was okay because those state funds weren't going to the religious institution, they were going to the student. So anytime you have a situation like that, it's okay if the situation or the money or whatever is happening helps a student, not the institution. They've also allowed buses, the state to pay for buses, to allow buses to pick up and take kids to religious schools as well, because it's helping the student, not the religion. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of time. I think I'm going to keep my videos at 10 minutes, not 5, because I figured, I don't have enough time to teach you guys in 5 minutes, plus I'm funny and amazing, so why wouldn't you want to look at me for 10 minutes? So keep it tuned here. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comment bar. If you wanted to go deeper into my court cases, then please go to my website. You can check out more there, and we'll see you next time for the freedom of speech on the First Amendment. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Stay beautiful, Americans.